I just wanna wake up and feel weightless. Most of the time I hate this. Post up all the time with a fake grin, and inside it's raining. I can't seem to find a raise. Peek through the dark, see better days. I know it's coming, just don't know when. Wondering when I'll laugh again and really fucking mean it. Straight to the depths, I fucking seen it. Hell and back, that's where I've been. I tell them that with a pad and pen. These days I stay low. Tell me where's my raincoat. Gotta face the day like usual. These demons, yeah, I'm used to them. Won't let them get used to me. Wish I was how I used to be. So carefree, so optimistic. Never took a moment to stop and listen. I wish for time back. I really gotta stop that, cause living in the past is so exhausting. I'm getting older, it's never stopping. Yeah, break down, crawl in the bed, face down. Is it all in my head? Am I safe now? Does anybody else relate? Wow, so many that are just like me, but still I feel so alone. And see the waves rush in, I'm caving in. I just wanna fucking breathe. Can anybody out there hear me? Is anybody out there near me? I don't wanna wake up scared. I've been running from this endless night.
I just wanna wake up with a calm soul. Wish I could overcome my obstacles. Always feel right through the coals. Wish the world could find a common goal, but I work through the night and I see that most people don't like the feedback. Most people don't really care, and most people aren't really there. So the darkness is my solace, and the studio is my office. Tried to help out all my friends, but had to learn that some just don't want it. So I try to move on, keep it going, always write new songs. Take a break and then come back strong. Only path that I've known too long, yeah.
Can anybody out there hear me? Is anybody out there near me? I don't wanna wake up scared. I've been running from this endless nightmare. Can anybody out there hear me? Is anybody out there near me? I don't wanna wake up scared. I've been running from this endless nightmare.
Allo, allo. Salut à tous. Alors je sais pas ce qu'on va faire aujourd'hui, mais CS peut-être, peut-être pas. On est quel jour? On est jeudi. Oui, c'est ce qu'on peut faire. Counter-Strike? Counter-Strike. Non, on va peut-être faire autre chose. On peut faire autre chose. Il y a toujours moyen de faire autre chose. Y a pas des conférences là Pas des conférences la Gamescom? Hop. Qu'est-ce qu'ils vont nous dire aujourd'hui? Alors, à la Gamescom, ils nous disent absolument rien. Non, non, non. À la limite, tiens, je viens de voir ça, on peut faire peut-être un peu de GeoGuessr, mais j'ai pas payé GeoGuessr. Sport the World. Ah, attends, c'était quoi mon compte? Je ne me rappelle pas. Ça, sûrement. Yes, c'est bon. Alors attendez. Est-ce que vous voyez Internet là? Je crois pas. Là. Voilà. Bon. Je sais. Je suis une merde, hein, mais on va y jouer quand même. Attends. Donc, compétitive. Ouais, classique. Classique. Sport the World. This is Explorer mode. Pick a country to play from the map and the last below. Non, attends. Ouais. Retournez là. Moi, je veux juste jouer, hein. On va faire World là. Hein. You're about 5 minutes of free play. Ok. Ok, c'est 5 minutes. Je crois que c'était une game. Non, c'est 5 minutes maintenant. Ok, ok. Default settings, no time limit. Ah bah y a pas de... Oui, enfin... Ouais, ok. Alors... Un pont, d'accord. Une sorte de pont. Pas vraiment un pont, y a pas d'eau là. Hein. On va voir les packs, forcément. Wow, ok. Ça a l'air d'être un... Non, c'est pas un monument. Je pense pas. J'ai littéralement aucune idée de où ça peut être. que c'est que ça? Danger, ok. Pays anglophone donc. Pays anglophone. Ouais, ça a de grandes chances d'être en Amérique. Peut-être au Canada. Bon, on va mettre là pour l'instant. Je sais pas du tout. Je sais pas du tout. Ah ouais, je suis tombé sur un pont quoi. Après, faut trouver, j'imagine qu'il faut trouver l'État quoi. Si ça se trouve, on est même pas en Amérique, ça se trouve, c'est juste l'Angleterre. Pas de plaque, on a rien. Alors, welcome to Parkside. Dominion Energy. Ah. Ouais, ok, c'est The Owner ça. On n'a pas d'informations. North Recreational Area. Ouais. Ouais, ça ressemble quand même sacrément à l'Amérique. Des pick-up partout. North Recreational, donc ce sera plutôt dans le nord quoi. Dans le nord, dans le Dakota. Dakota du Nord. Franchement, on n'a pas d'autres indices pour l'instant. Ah si, des villes là. Ballantine, Irmo, Rush River Road. Ouais. Pas de grande ville qui s'appelle comme ça là. Je pense qu'on n'est pas si mal que ça. Hein. On va bien voir, mais. Salt Lake City, ok. Kansas. Omaha, ok. Lincoln, ouais, mais Irmo, Valentine, Rush River Road. Ouais, c'est une rue en particulier ou c'est un endroit qui est plutôt connu? Et là? Merde. Je suis pas doué, hein. Je suis pas doué. On va passer le panneau? Oui. Mais. Saluda Shoals Park. Je sais pas, Only. Ça ressemble à de l'Amérique quand même. Hein. Resort Lifestyle Community, Lexington. Ça, c'est en Caroline, mais forcément, c'est en Caroline. C'est où ça? Je sais pas. Caroline, Caroline. Là. South Carolina. Avant qu'on soit à côté de la Caroline du Sud, que ce soit la route pour aller en Caroline du Sud. Oh non, ce serait bizarre. Non, je pense qu'on est en Caroline du Sud. Peut-être trouver des villes, des noms de villes. Lexington, voilà. Irmo, ben voilà. Donc on serait à Columbia du coup. Point de point de départ. Ouais. Je pense qu'on est pas mal là. Hein. Je pense que je vais pas pouvoir faire beaucoup mieux. If a minute of free exploring has ended. Ah, your playtime will be refilled again. Ok. Ouais, ok. Oui, ouais. C'est ma seule game de la journée. Oui. Ah bah j'étais dans le bon état. J'étais dans le bon état, mais voilà. Ah oui, voilà, ouais. Donc il y avait les panneaux Lexington et Irmo, l'autre côté. D'accord, ok. Donc on était à Lake Park. Oui, oui, bah logique. On est passé dessus. Bien, ah ouais, ok, on était vraiment au bord, quoi. De l'eau. Du Lake Murray. Ok. Ok. Go to start page. Ouais, donc là je peux pas rejouer, logique. Oh, sympa, sympa. Petite game de jeu au Guesseur là. Bon. Voilà. Voilà. Exactement. Qu'est-ce qui vous fait envie? Ouais, j'ai eu Age of Empires 2 il y a pas longtemps. Je me demande si ce serait pas. Si on pourrait pas tester, puisque je connais pas du tout le jeu. Hein. Age of Empires 2. Je l'ai même pas installé. Je vais l'installer. En attendant, voilà, hein, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? Toujours pas de match CSGO. Enfin, c'est fini en plus. Ils ont enlevé les confettis et tout. Ils ont tout enlevé, c'est fou là. C'est fini. Pardon. Bon alors. On pourrait jouer à. Il faut que je fasse Half-Life, ouais. J'ai plein de jeux à faire. J'ai tellement plein de jeux à faire. J'ai quoi de prévu? Witcher 2. Witcher 2. Doom. Il faut que je suis rendu à Doom 3. Non, Doom 2. Faut que je finisse Doom 2. Ouais, c'est pas forcément intéressant à stream, ça. Hein, les premiers Doom en tout cas. Doom 3? Pourquoi il y a Doom 3 là? Ah, il avait donné gratuit, non? Je sais plus. Pourquoi j'ai Doom 3? Free là. Oh, je vais regarder ça, bizarre. Je savais même pas que j'avais Doom 3 dans ma. Je suis en train de regarder. Ah non, c'est des giveaways. Ouais, ok, c'est bizarre. C'est bizarre. Je savais même pas que j'avais ce jeu là en fait. J'ai acheté la. Ah, faudrait peut-être que je vous mette le. pire. Voilà. Normalement, vous voyez bien. Vous allez bien voir. Yes. Salut. Mon micro est pas éteint, non? Non, mais je sais pas. À la limite, en vrai, j'ai la flemme de continuer Doom 2. Genre, on passe à Doom 2016 direct. Attendez. Faut que j'installe Doom 2016 aussi. Je suis en train d'installer Half-Life, je crois, là. Non, Age of Empires 2, on avait dit. Parce que Doom 2016, 70 Go, ouais. Ouais, j'ai peut-être pas 70 Go de stockage. GG Yuzuki, il a tous les Doom. Bah moi aussi, il manque juste Eternal. J'ai pas Eternal, triste. Doom 2 donc. J'ai Doom 64, j'ai Final Doom, j'ai tous les Doom sauf Eternal. Après j'ai The Witcher aussi à faire. Faire Yakuza 0, un peu la flemme. Je peux jouer Super Meat. Ah, je l'ai pas installé non plus. Faut faire du upgun. Mais je suis seul donc triste. Tellement plein de choses à faire. Comment ça, Age of Empire 2? Age of Empire 2, c'est vieux ça comme jeu. C'est sur PC depuis un petit moment. Age of Empire 2, c'est. Ça... Attends. Sur mon Steam, marqué quoi? 2013, je crois. Ah non, c'est une version de 2019. Age of Empire 2, l'original, c'est assez vieux, hein. Oui, il a pas envie de. Tu me saoules toi un peu. J'ai pas la rêve de Wolverine. Ah ouais, vous savez quoi au pire? Age of Empire lancé et est installé. On va essayer, hein. Let's go faire ça, hein. Ah, j'ai plus beaucoup de place sur mon OS, enfin sur mon disque. T'inquiète, t'inquiète. Toujours ce qu'il faut. XCS, mais bon, j'y crois pas trop. Petit AOE. Ah, faut que Steam installe toutes les machins, tous les machins là. Oh, oh. Ok.
OK,
Ah, merde.
bouton.
Qu'est-ce qu'il me parle lui?
Actu, bouton.
Euh.
Multijoueur, bouton.
Pourquoi j'ai diction
Connexion
automatique là?
menu. Crédit, bouton. Objet de la file d'attente globale, déposer la relique, 11 sur 18.
Ah ouais, il parle auto. Ah,
Audio. Caserne, 11 sur 24.
ah y a pas
Narration du menu, case, cocher, assemblée, 2 sur 18.
T'arrêtes de parler là? Ouais. Voilà. Bizarre ça, un peu. Bon. Vous voyez le jeu? Vous voyez pas le jeu? C'est assez bizarre. Vous voyez pas le jeu? C'est bugué. Je sais pas faire. Quoi, il faut que je relance le jeu? C'est automatique normalement. Bizarre. Comment ça, synchronisation impossible? Ça, c'est un peu tout ça. Moi, je veux jouer. C'est à cause du full screen, tu crois? Je suis sur Streamlabs, moi, je suis pas sur OBS. Ah, ça marche pas. Ouais. Non, ça marche pas. Que le jeu soit en plein écran? Possible, hein? Option. Je suis en plein écran. Je veux jouer à AOE2. AOE2, Age of Empire, mais j'arrive pas. Au pire, attendez. Au lieu de faire une capture de jeu, on va supprimer. Ouais, je m'en fous. On va faire une capture de fenêtre. Et on peut mettre... Non, il reconnaît pas... Il veut pas de AOE. C'est assez bizarre. Automatique, il reconnaît pas le jeu en fait. Plein écran. Non, vous voyez pas le jeu. Hein. Et là, je crois que vous le voyez pas non plus. Triste. Bah, on va faire une capture d'écran alors. Hop, hop. Où est le jeu là? Où est le jeu et vous me voyez tout faire quoi. Est-ce que vous voyez le jeu? Ah bah c'est nickel ça. Bon bah on va commencer à jouer là. on va faire tous les idées officiels. Hein. Les bases.
Nous n'avons plus de chef. Le roi d'Écosse est mort sans descendance.
D'accord.
La guerre se prépare au sud, où Édouard le Sec, roi d'Angleterre et vautour notoire, est rentré victorieux de ses campagnes en France et au Pays de Galles. Le spectre de la terreur s'abat sur les Highlands alors que son regard se porte vers l'Écosse. L'armée anglaise est forte de plusieurs milliers d'archers gallois, de centaines de chevaliers et de dizaines d'engins de siège. Nous autres Écossais n'avons qu'un ramassis de soldats inexpérimentés, à peine capables de marcher droit. Il nous faut agir vite. Si nous voulons avoir une chance de résister, nous devons à tout prix lever une véritable armée.
C'est du lore ça après. C'est que du lore, je pense. On s'en bat les couilles du lore, nous on veut faire du gaming. Oh la cornemuse. Alors, suivez les instructions pour atteindre le village écossais. Très bien. Vous pouvez parcourir la carte en déplaçant votre souris vers le bord de l'écran. Par exemple, déplacez le curseur en bas de l'écran pour explorer les territoires correspondants. Ici donc. Très bien. Ok. Ok.
Les Anglais répandent la terreur en Écosse.
Ok.
C'est le moment pour nous de riposter. Si nous voulons les vaincre, nous devons tous apprendre à marcher et à combattre. Suivez le chemin jusqu'au drapeau bleu. D'abord, cliquez sur le soldat. Bien. Cliquez avec le bouton droit près du drapeau bleu.
Ah d'accord. Où je dis d'aller là.
Bien. Passons au drapeau suivant. Cliquez sur le soldat, puis cliquez avec le bouton droit près du drapeau.
C'est quoi la ref à Ten Wolf? Que tu nous parles d'Alten Wolf là?
Excellent. Pour aller vers le prochain drapeau, vous devez traverser la zone noire. En vous déplaçant dans la zone noire représentant le territoire inexploré, une partie plus importante de la carte apparaît. C'est tout.
Oh le ratio.
Maintenant, allez au prochain drapeau où vous rencontrerez des soldats alliés.
D'accord. Je suis les drapeaux. Je suis les drapeaux. Péon, vrai péon. Oh. Oh la team.
Pour déplacer tous vos soldats, cliquez près d'eux et entourez-les. Puis cliquez avec le bouton droit pour les déplacer. Déplacez vos soldats jusqu'au prochain drapeau.
Après il y a tout plein d'actions là. Déplacer.
Toutes vos unités
offensive.
ont atteint le drapeau.
Nice.
La route devant vous est gardée par un poste avancé anglais. Faites défiler l'écran vers le haut jusqu'au bâtiment en déplaçant votre souris. Puis cliquez sur le poste avancé rouge. Bien. Maintenant, déplacez votre souris vers le bas pour faire défiler l'écran jusqu'à revoir vos soldats. Sélectionnez vos soldats en cliquant à côté et en les entourant d'un cadre. Continuez sur cette route jusqu'au poste avancé. C'est le moment de le démolir.
Allez. On va défoncer. On va les défoncer. On fait le moindre tuto.
Cliquez avec le bouton droit sur le poste avancé pour l'attaquer.
Là, on l'attaque. On l'attaque. Niquez-lui sa mère. Let's go. Let's go. Ouais, c'est carrément, ça prend feu quoi. Bien fait le jeu, réaliste. Nice.
Le poste avancé est détruit. Cela devrait endiguer les attaques des Anglais.
C'est vrai, réel.
Continuez sur le chemin jusqu'au village.
Oh, plus de tours. On va au village. J'ai jusqu'à là.
Enfin chez soi.
Et ouais, réel.
Mais attendez. Les Anglais sont furieux car vous avez détruit leur poste avancé. Ils vont attaquer votre village. Mais pas de panique. Cliquez sur vos soldats, puis cliquez avec le bouton droit sur les soldats en rouge pour attaquer. Éliminez vos ennemis pour gagner votre première bataille.
Oh, ils sont trois.
Bien joué.
Voilà.
Maintenant, vous savez comment
Aucune
résister
chance.
à l'armée anglaise.
Alors comment je fais? Je clique. J'ai gagné!
L'Écosse possède désormais des soldats, si rares soient-ils.
J'avais déjà joué un peu sur le
Cela
Game
dit,
Pass, mais...
il nous faudra bien plus de recrues et d'or
Steam,
dans
là.
nos coffres pour repousser
Ouais,
la
je vais me
convoitise
prendre
d'Édouard
autant que
le
je veux.
Sec. Bientôt, toutes
Ah,
ces
nique sa mère,
pierres
les
et
Anglais,
ces
hein.
chaînes ancestraux baigneront dans le sang versé des clans.
Nous on est là, on leur nique leur daronne, c'est tout. Alors. Ouais, m'en fous. Niveau suivant.
Comme le dit l'adage, on ne se bat pas le ventre vide. Les miens cultivent la terre et, sans une économie seule...
Hop là, je m'en fous. Moi je veux jouer. Faire du gaming, c'est ce qu'on fait. Colter 50 unités de nourriture, ok. Les villageois peuvent récolter de la nourriture, du bois, de l'or et de la pierre. Autant de ressources nécessaires pour construire des bâtiments, développer des technologies et former des soldats. D'accord, donc faut que j'aille récupérer des
Pour
ressources.
aider l'armée écossaise, vous aurez besoin d'augmenter vos réserves de ressources.
Ouais.
Pour gagner, vos stocks de nourriture, de bois et d'or doivent atteindre 50 chacun. Pour prendre de la nourriture dans les buissons, cliquez sur un villageois et cliquez avec le bouton droit sur les baies près du drapeau bleu.
Ah, faut que j'aille
Dans la
chercher
zone
les
de
baies.
situation en bas de l'écran,
Ah non.
vous pouvez voir la quantité de nourriture transportée par le villageois. Ce dernier poursuivra la cueillette jusqu'à ce que la quantité transportée atteigne 10.
Ah ok, d'accord. Il va direct reposer après, ok. Et je peux pas produire là-dedans?
Le villageois va continuer à travailler pour vous en apportant de la nourriture au forum.
Yes. On aigle là? Ok, bon, je crois qu'on s'en fout un peu. Il y a vraiment un jeu Colissimo? Non, c'est pas... C'est quoi? C'est genre... Ah mais c'est Death Stranding! Death Stranding qui est arrivé dans le Game Pass, c'est ça que tu parles? Ouais, Death Stranding! En vrai, le jeu, il est sympa quoi, mais enfin, c'est Hideo Kojima, faut... Tu l'as ou tu l'as pas la ref, hein. Bah pourquoi tu feras un live dessus si t'es pas trop fan du jeu?
Bien joué. Maintenant, vous avez assez de bois.
Ok. Arrête.
Bonage.
Arrête.
Bonage. Kid. Fiediga.
Ouais, c'est ça. Nourriture, c'est de la nourriture ça.
Le villageois va continuer
en
à
vrai,
travailler
chaud
pour
de fou,
vous
hein.
en apportant de la nourriture au
Je
forum.
suis chaud de fou pour regarder ton gameplay de Death Stranding. Tu vas faire 3 livraisons et tu vas en avoir marre parce que le bébé il fait que de pleurer. Ah bah je serai là aussi hein.
La quantité de nourriture que vous avez s'affiche dans le coin supérieur gauche de l'écran.
Ouais,
En plus de
d'accord.
vos réserves de nourriture, vous pouvez voir vos réserves de bois, d'or et de pierre. Plus vous avez de villageois et plus vous glanez des ressources rapidement.
Je savais même pas que tu
Chargez
faisais
vos
des
villageois
lives,
de
Pierre.
trouver de la nourriture.
Kid. Forgere.
J'ai commencé Hellblade, Hellblade c'est une énorme dinguerie hein. Je veux pas de doublage français je crois, mais il est trop bien ce jeu. Ah mais il y en a un autre, il sort d'où lui? De la pierre. Mais il y a du monde.
Kia. Forgere.
Vous allez me chercher. Oh, vous allez me faire le tour là. Tiens toi aussi.
Bien. Vous avez trouvé de l'or.
Kia. Bid 4.
Kid, Nianaga.
Forgere. Bid 4. Kid.
C'est de l'or. Ça c'est quoi? Réserve de pierre. Ça compte comme de l'or ou pas? Bah je m'en rappelle pas, Pierre. Je m'en rappelle tellement pas. Je me rappelle pas que... Ouais ok, donc c'est une ressource rare l'or. Non, c'est pas de la pierre quoi. C'est logique.
Bargara, Bitfir.
Parfait. Votre stock de nourriture est à 50. Pour gagner, vous devez aussi avoir un stock de 50 en bois et en or. Pour ramasser du bois,
j'ai pas besoin de
cliquez
pierre.
sur un villageois, puis
Nianaga.
cliquez avec le bouton droit sur un arbre. Si vous n'avez pas encore trouvé d'or, cherchez dans le territoire inexploré.
Bah, la prochaine fois que tu l'as, je vais être au courant moi. Je vais être là. Surtout si c'est Colissimo Simulator.
Erlov. Bid Fear.
Non mais c'est bon. C'est bon là, je vais avoir assez.
Excellent. Maintenant, vous avez assez d'or.
Ouais, je fais quoi maintenant?
Forgere.
Vous êtes sur la bonne voie pour fonder une ville.
Bid Fear.
Tu me demandes de faire quoi maintenant? Ah bah j'ai gagné, let's go.
Si décrié soit-il, Édouard a prouvé ses talents de stratège chevronné au...
M'en fous. On va regarder tous les tutos. Hein. Tuto très important. Appelez Soupux.
Dans tous les hameaux des Highlands, on ne parle plus que des escarmouches entre Anglais et Écossais.
Ah RIP. RIP, tu pourras pas paraître dans ton appart. Attends, parce que...
Nous allons avoir besoin d'hommes pour défendre nos terres. Pour gagner, il vous faut former 4 miliciens. Nous allons commencer par créer des villageois. Cliquez sur votre forum.
Faut juste que... Attendez 2 secondes. Et c'est quand? C'est tout de suite là? J'ai regardé tout à l'heure, il y avait rien. On peut regarder ça? Attends, ça... Ah ouais, ils vont parler de Plague Tale. Bah je suis... Attends, j'arrive tout de suite hein. Bon on va arrêter Age of Empires du coup. Quel jeu? Oui. Ouais t'inquiète. Le jeu là qui me... Tout va bien. Non mais on va regarder la conférence. Attends. Plague Tale? Tu parles de Plague Tale? Qui est déjà... qui vient d'être annoncé là? Attends. Xbox... Il parle pas? Bon. Games... D'accord, c'est la Gamescom. Une conférence de la Gamescom. Ah merci, le lien.
Lovely. So, for those who haven't, or
Alors.
people who are waiting to jump right into Requiem, I should say, but maybe they've not played Innocence, would you say it's recommended reading? Is it important to go back? I'm certain you'll say it is, but what do you think for new fans?
No, of course they should
Well, yeah,
play it,
absolutely.
No, it's we have
Voilà.
rebooted but rethink everything in the game. So
Yeah.
Ils sont en train de parler de quoi là?
we have done everything to onboard everyone joining.
Donc c'est X of Trance là direct? Ok. Ils
Even if you haven't played the first one, you can jump in. It will be good for you.
sont en train de parler de
So I
Plague
was
Tale
also
là
wondering
du
if
coup.
you could talk a little bit about the the sort of accessibility and the onboarding that you've done, and what you had in mind during development. What are some of the key changes coming to Requiem, especially for those who loved the original?
C'est pas très beau, hein. Enfin, il y a des pixels partout. Hein.
There's a lot of new things, of course. You've seen it in a trailer. In terms of gameplay, it's much more wider, bigger, much more open than the first one was.
Yeah, I picked up on that actually. Yeah.
Je me rappelle que le 1 était une énorme dinguerie, donc là.
Open it even further and offer new tools to Amicia, like the deadly crossbow she has now, or the knife she can use.
Et donc il y a une conférence physique. La Gamescom, je croyais qu'il se faisait pas avec le Covid. Il y en a une finalement.
Now she's using war weapon. It was not something she was doing in the first one. So she's ready to deal with death.
Bah, le 1 est incroyable, hein. Innocence.
By the looks of the trailer. So you mentioned the word new a lot, and I think it's important to point out that this is the new console generation that we're working with at the moment.
Ah, ils ont tenté de faire des sous-titres en direct là.
Can we expect to see in Requiem?
So there's many things again. The first one that come in my.
Après le jeu, il vaut 40 balles, je crois, ou 50. C'est un triple A quoi.
It was a brand new thing for us. We had no mock-up on the first one, so we built up our studio. We've learned new ways to work. So we've.
Ah oui, du coup c'est un Français qui parle là, ça se voit, ça s'entend.
We wanted a larger game, as I was saying, but we needed then more light, because light is a key element of our gameplay.
I love the way every new thing brings its own problems that you had to overcome.
So we had a much more wider area, so it means more light. Light is very expensive in terms of performances for the game, so it was a big challenge. But also, of course, wider space, we need
gotta
more
fill it with
rats.
something. Yeah.
Ok, ils ont fait des espaces plus grands.
5,000 to 300,000 rats on the screen.
That's a lot of rats to begin with. So sorry, say that one more time.
Mais oui, tu l'as. Il l'avait offert sur Epic, le premier.
Are you lot okay? That's a lot of rats to put in the video game. Well, I was going to say. Well, thanks to all of those rats, it does mean that when we say that Amicia and Hugo.
Ça c'est Requiem encore, ouais. Ils montrent pas de Innocence de toute façon, ils montrent que du gameplay de Requiem, logique.
So, how do you go about showing their relationship in an authentic way after everything that they've been through together?
It's super hard to do that because they've been through a lot. They have experience. They were almost dead sometime, and a lot of people around them died, so they have to grow up, be much more mature than what they should be at their age. It's super hard to build up a story and convey convincing dialogue for children. Fortunately, the team is quite old now, and
age is but a number.
But and we a lot of us have children, so we can be inspired by them and try to feel the best way to convey.
Putain, j'adore les rats, c'est un truc de fou, hein. Oh là là, comment on va trop le faire ce jeu. Peut-être pas maintenant, mais.
So what's that sort of like to go? Yeah, we're reflecting the childlike experience in the game, but also committing terrors to them.
Yeah, it's this is something we have no inspiration to take from, because again
you don't want to be inspired by that too.
No. Of course no.
Yeah, well, fair enough. We're going to focus a little bit now specifically on Amicia. As in Innocence, we saw her wielding a crossbow. She's way more prepared.
Amicia, du coup, c'est le perso principal, si je me souviens bien.
A bigger all-round hero to Hugo. So, how do her tactics change in Requiem, and what does that mean for the
Comment ça, plus de problème?
So, as the prepared is the right word.
Plus de problème par rapport à quoi?
She don't want just only to survive or to escape. She's ready to fight.
Oh, le jeu, je lâche sur Epic.
But she's not forced to. So the player can choose the way he will approach things.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So he can go full stairs.
Puis le Game Pass, c'est rentable. Non, c'est rentable, ça dépend pour qui. Hein. Parce que bon, ça dépend à combien de temps tu joues par mois, quoi.
It's not that only the space that is wider, but also the way you will approach things.
Yeah, and by full combat, you mean? I mean, we saw some stuff from the trailer, like all-out combat, right?
Yeah. You can burn people, you can use the crossbow to kill them instantaneously, or you can use the knife to...
Oh ouais, tu parles de Requiem, mais même Requiem, le jeu quand il va sortir, il va valoir 60 €, je pense, 50-60 €. Le Game Pass, c'est quoi? C'est 10 balles par mois? Ouais, c'est rentable pendant 6 mois, quoi. Et finir un jeu en 6 mois, ça dépend des gens.
So it's funny because it's something that people don't really know, but when we are working on the game for several years, we don't work with voice actor instantaneously. So for like 2 or 3 years, we work with a text-to-speech, so robot voices. And for an emotional game, it's a bit hard because
it takes you out a little bit.
Yeah, it's like when you use your smartphone, it's a flat voice with no emotion, no punctuation.
Bon, du coup, les sous-titres ils sont vraiment useless, hein, ils servent à rien.
Focus on the story, on even sometimes to understand what is the purpose of seconds. It's after 16 hours of playthrough, you're like.
Oui, bah, je sais bien, je sais qu'un abonnement à l'année c'est encore moins cher, quoi. Forcément. C'est rentable, mais ça dépend de combien de temps tu joues, si t'as vraiment le temps de jouer, quoi. Faut vraiment être un énorme gamer pour que ce soit rentable. Je pense.
Which were the actor for Amisa Nugo from the first one. We were so in love with their
il parle du doublage.
Game changer for us to have them back in the game. When they arrive, their voices arrive in the game changed.
I was going to say, I imagine it's a little bit of a chicken and egg situation with voice acting. Who informs the character? Is it you guys designing the character, or does the voice actor come in and actually completely change a scene?
Non, Garovan, c'est pas CSGO. On regarde la conférence de Xbox aujourd'hui.
No, I think Amicia should say it like that, or a bit more like that. So we changed that on the fly with them.
Non mais c'est vrai. Je pense que Pierre, tu as raison. Tu as raison, c'est rentable.
I love that they have their own feedback as well. It's their character, right? It's their character that they're conveying. So big love for them to feed it back as well. Right. Well, lastly, for anyone who
ouais, c'est Xbox Live. Yoran, tu veux jouer après? T'es dispo? Tu travailles peut-être?
So we're super glad to have it day one on Game Pass because it means that a lot of players
will be able to try the game
and to give us feedback because I really want to see their reaction. You know, I can't wait to see that. We've built up the games in several years and we write up this big story and I really want to see people's reaction to that.
And the community have been really close since the first title as well.
Travaille quand tu veux.
It's thanks to them
Bizarre.
that we were able to do the sequel, so we're super excited.
It's a love letter to them by the courier device of rats. 300,000 of them to be precise.
300,000 rats of love.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm a massive fan of the series and I cannot wait to get my hands on it.
Thank you again.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. But when it comes to self-care, you can't beat a rewatch of the Disney classics, right? I know I certainly can't. Yet in recent years, many of us have also sought comfort in virtual worlds. Millions of players have found solace in games that allow us to customize islands, build unique homes, and share virtual spaces with friends when we can't actually see them in person. Our next trailer builds on that idea and
les différents games.
So to speak, here's an all-new look at Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Et on parlait de Disney là? Ouais.
Hello everyone. I went on a wonderful adventure today in Dreamlight Valley, and I want to share it with you. It started with my favorite song.
Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Don't you just love when that happens?
Ah mais c'est les Sims mais Disney quoi.
Ever. So, I picked out my look for the day.
Bizarre.
For something adventurous, and I had the perfect outfit.
Ils en avaient déjà parlé?
A bit creative, so I added a little touch of magic to my look, and then I was off. I made my way to Chez Remy for brunch. I love cooking with Remy. I was feeling some Mickey waffles with jam, but it turns out we were fresh out of fruit. Raspberry jam is my favorite.
Ils en avaient déjà parlé? C'est quoi? C'est un open world? On dirait, hein?
But I just couldn't cross the bridge. I'll have to adventure back there to check it out. My stomach started to rumble, so I headed back over to the plaza. And we were ready to cook.
Ouais, le char a l'air plutôt clean. Hein.
There are so many recipes to try to create the perfect Disney-themed meal.
Ah ouais, d'accord. Tu crées ton univers Disney, tu mets les bâtiments où tu veux, truc comme ça quoi.
After brunch, the weather was just so perfect that I couldn't resist going for a walk and some shopping. While looking in the windows of Scrooge McDuck's general store, I ran into Scrooge himself.
Pourquoi pas, hein?
He asked for my help spreading the word around town about his shop. Of course, I said yes. So, I headed over to my crafting table, whipped up a few
Ah bah oui, mais forcément. Là, tout ce qu'ils annoncent, c'est forcément dans le Game Pass du coup. On est d'accord. Parce que c'est Xbox qui en parle.
When I set up my house, I noticed a strange pillar. Merlin had quite a story to tell about it. I put up the perfect hangout spot and I invited Ariel to hang out because happy moments are always better when you share them with friends. It really was a perfect day in Dreamlight Valley.
Dreamlight Valley.
Dreamlight Valley now.
Le 6 septembre, c'est ça que j'ai vu? Ça sort le 6 septembre. Et on parlait de quoi après? On a des infos ou pas? Non, on sait pas, il n'y a pas de... Tu vois, je croyais que sur la page de Gamescom, ils auraient mis tous les streams quoi. Mais non, faut chercher les streams un par un. Il n'y a pas de... Il y a un planning de la Gamescom? Je sais pas. Je regarde. Home Gamescom. Ah bah si, ils ont le stream de Xbox, il est là. Ah mais c'est Xbox Box quoi. Après le stream de Xbox France, il est pas super. Hein. Metal Hellsinger, ok. Ah, ils vont faire un concert, d'accord. Planer? Non, c'est pas ça. Oh, je suis bête. Ah, demain 15h les journées.
Ahoy there! Welcome.
Ok.
Park, and I'm head of brand and
On verra.
there. And I am joined today by 3 members of the Sea of 3 crew. Sea of 3 crew?
Sea of Thieves,
it's kind of work. So, I'll go along the row. So we've got Joe Neats, executive producer on Sea of Thieves. We've got Mike Chapman, who's our creative director. And then we've got Joe, who is our senior community manager. So how is everyone?
Excited, tired, everything, all of the above. Like
that wonderful mix you get at events.
Yeah.
Feeling the buzz of the live show.
Yeah.
Ils vont parler de Pac-Man? D'un nouveau jeu Pac-Man ou du produit dérivé? Une série ou je sais pas quoi?
So how is it actually being... I mean, I'm sure everyone's asking the same question. How is it back at a show with people?
Right. Overwhelming, but in the best way, right? Yeah. Like, it really is. Like, it's just... The passion, the excitement, the buzz, I think that we all have coming to a show like this, right? And kind of meeting the fans, but then giving back to us from everybody that we see. It's just like, it's incredible. Like, we've brought so many of the team here. We've got about 13, I think, with us. Like, and because it's just so valuable bringing people to shows, getting that buzz.
Ah oui, il y avait Pac-Man derrière, oui, ok. Il y a un film en live action? Mais genre ils vont peindre un mec en jaune? Non, pas à ce point-là quand même. Genre ils vont le faire en 3D. Genre en mode Sonic.
So Joe, this is your first official Sea of Thieves event.
Yes, first official Sea of Thieves event and first Gamescom in general. It's amazing. Like obviously we had a little taste of this end of July with Sotfest. Yep. And that was wonderful to see the fans in person after so long and for the first time for I think a lot of us. And now we've brought it to Gamescom, and some of them are here,
Ouais, c'est ça. Mais ce serait Sony qui le fait aussi alors? Enfin non, c'est qui a la licence Pac-Man au cinéma? C'est Sonic qui avait Sonic? Non, je sais pas. Hein. C'est les mêmes? Je sais pas.
So obviously it's been 3 years since we've done anything like this. What's gone on generally, Mike? I'm going to ask you to start with. Sure. Sea of Thieves, has anything happened in the last 3 years?
What haven't we done?
What?
Honestly, I think
Bon, c'est pas très sympa à regarder parce que les sous-titres sont en décalage.
We've added the emissary system. In fact, the players can go and role play as their trading companies for extra rewards. We've added new quest types. We brought in our seasonal progression systems. We brought in our adventures. We brought in our mysteries. We brought in like all these new ways to play. And one of the key ones, of course, was their collaboration with Disney on Pirates Life. And you know,
parle de quoi là? Disney Pirates Life, non? Un truc comme ça?
Thank you, sir.
Just keep going.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the big ones was what happened with the Pirates' Life. So
ah ouais.
Working with Disney, we built all of that.
Oh mais c'est Sea of Thieves ça, non? Ah oui, parce qu'il y a un truc Disney dans Sea of Thieves, non? Je crois, ouais, c'est Sea of Thieves. Il parle de la collaboration avec Disney du coup.
The pandemic. How has it been, like that dynamic of actually coming into the studio?
Jack Sparrow.
It's the best thing. Like you get a real sense since day one of how closely the team works together and how approachable everyone is. There's no one that you can't just drop a message to, but that translates over to the studio where we've got such a wonderful, creative, nurturing environment. But you can go and knock on the door of anyone or bump into them into the corridor, and conversations spark from that. It's such a wonderful thing to now have that. Everyone's not just behind a screen anymore.
And how do you feel, Joe? I mean, again, it's been a long 3 years. We've achieved a lot in that time. How does it feel being back somewhere like this with what we've done?
Well, honestly, like, I think we were talking about this kind of earlier, right? Like you were talking about during the pandemic, the teams all separated, but being back in the studio, you just get that energy that you feed off each other. You feed off kind of the team and the people around you. And going to a show like this, you kind of get that same thing. Like I said, just you feed off the energy. Like, and even though we're exhausted and we've all got so much and I've got a cough sweet in my mouth at all times, like water on hand, like, but it is what I promise. It's just. It just gives you this energy and desire and passion to just like want to go back and just pour it into your work and pour it into the game. And you kind of want to take it and bottle it, right, and then take it back to the whole studio. Like we always do when we go back, we take photos and videos and do a big presentation and really try and just get people to understand what it's like to meet the fans, right? And
you get the afterglow, and this is what we'll experience next week. We'll have this wonderful Gamescom afterglow as we get to take that back to
pour tes études tu parles, ciné ou gaming?
Put it into all the ambitious things
ou dans les jeux?
For this year and beyond.
Ah ouais, chaud.
Before we get onto that, teases and the like. So you did, like you mentioned it, one of the things we introduced in last year's
y a que toi qui peux choisir, frérot.
Season 7.
Yeah.
Just gone live a couple of weeks back.
Indeed.
And it's a biggie.
It is a biggie.
It's a biggie. So, like, what have you, and I'm going to start with you, Mike, but I will come to you, what have you kind of enjoyed seeing people do? And what has Season 7 like?
Je sais bien que les deux sont incroyables. Hein. En tous les cas, grosse dinguerie.
And the idea of being a pirate captain in our world, the idea that your ship becomes an embodiment of who you are in this world and your pirate journey. Captaincy extends that pirate journey. It allows you to, as our community have often requested, to name your ship for the first time, to have this persistent identity for your ship. But beyond that, we're bringing in new progression elements. We're bringing in the captain's log, bringing ways that your session and the ship now feels like a home. So based on how you play, your ship represents who you uniquely are as a pirate and how you play in Sea of Thieves. So I think one of the most important things that has meant a lot to us seeing the reception is just seeing players go all in on that role play. You know, we're going all in the idea of this is who I am, and when you board someone's ship, that representing who they are in the Sea of Thieves world.
And why captaincy now? Like, what made sense to bring it in at this point?
Well, it's one of those features. I think we were always going to do it.
Yeah.
Why it made sense now was, and it kind of goes back to the question around what's happened in the last 3 years. You think about how much richer that Sea of Thieves experience has become. There's so many ways to play in Sea of Thieves now. There's so many ways.
Du coup, il parle que de Sea of Thieves là, du coup. Parce que franchement, on n'a un peu rien à foutre moi de Sea of Thieves.
There's just new ways to play.
Sea of Thieves.
Coming in now and rewarding you for all the unique things that's now in the sandbox.
Ouais.
It just puts this lovely new layer
Any old
to
nonsense.
that pirate journey, and it just celebrates this rich game that Sea of Thieves has become.
And I suppose, Joe, from a community perspective, you must have seen this played out in real time. Like, how has the community taken to captaincy?
Combien de gens qui regardent là, on peut pas voir?
From day one, they've been
Oh,
asking
ouais. Oh, ok. C'est marqué juste ici.
We've not only delivered that,
Donc
we've
là,
delivered so much
ils sont
more
pas,
on
ils sont
top
pas.
of it that people now have this pirate identity that until
Ils
now
parlent
was
de
just
quoi là?
conversations
Ils
or
parlent de. Ils ont parlé.
And we've got people
Ah oui,
that
ils parlent.
are going
Ah,
for
après
those solution
ils parlent de
bits,
Iron
or
Life.
people like
Faut
myself
que je
that
regarde ça,
it's
Iron
all
Life.
cannons fired,
C'est le jeu qui me
all the
hype le
dams that
plus.
we've completed. And you've got that real sense of identity now from our players because they can represent themselves on their ship and they're color coordinating.
Ça me hype tellement.
They're decorating and they're playing how they've always played, but now they're rewarded for it with their own identity, and they absolutely adore it. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, a big part of that is beyond just the notion of being a pirate captain. We wanted the idea that pirate captains in a world like ours would become the VIPs. They become the rock stars of the world. So as part of captaincy, and that's a big update that we brought in, there's a set of perks and conveniences that captains now have. So when you own your first ship in the Sea of Thieves,
Ouais, Iron Life. Enfin, c'est un seul des deux créateurs, je crois. C'est Justin Roiland.
Making that feel so much more efficient, using the harpoon to harpoon the treasure off the deck.
Ça me hype tellement, genre de tirer, genre mes guns, c'est des extraterrestres quoi.
This new progression system that allows you to unlock these trophies that represent.
Sur Steam, j'ai regardé sur Steam.
Captain's voyages, so you can select exactly what you want to do and store.
Merde, vous pouvez pas
all
voir
of
ça.
the voyages that you could do on this bookcase immersively in the captain's cabin. As part of that as well, you can go to the shipwright. And you
Ouais,
can
mais plus rien sur ce jeu, mais c'est un jeu indé Iron Life, hein, c'est pour ça aussi. Hein. C'est un jeu indé, hein. Ils vont pas. Ouais, je m'en fous, dans tous les cas, je vais y jouer. Hein. Il est dans le Game Pass en plus pour.
Consequence for your actions. Your ship showing the battle scars of all your adventures. You choosing to.
Il est dans le Game Pass. Il sera dans le Game Pass. C'est ça qui est bien.
Or you can pay a small amount of gold to make the whole.
Starfield.
So it really strengthens and really amplifies everything that's already unique about Sea of Thieves.
That second option is me. I have to pay to get it redone. I get in too many fights.
Ouais, mais Starfield, c'est pas les créateurs de Rick et Morty. Starfield, c'est le jeu dans l'espace là. Le jeu dans. Genre un peu à la. Le jeu du JDG là. Tu peux visiter plein de planètes, tout ça. Puis Starfield, c'est un jeu. C'est un jeu. Comment c'est qu'on fait Skyrim? Bethesda. Je crois, c'est Bethesda. Starfield.
What did you name your ships? And I'm going to start with you, Joe.
So I named my sloop is Littlefoot. My rare loadout brig is Get Red.
Nice.
And my galleon, which is the one that we use the most. So if you see it on the seas, come and say hello. That's the purple loadout, and that is the Purple Rain with the quartermaster sails.
Very good.
Nice.
And what about you, Mike?
Okay, so I've got a sloop and a brig. So for the sloop is called the Golden.
C'est plus No Man's Sky? Tu penses comment ça s'appelle Starfield? Ça ressemble plus à No Man's Sky? Ouais, c'est ça. Mais Star Citizen, c'est un peu plus. Déjà, Star Citizen, il est pas sorti. Hein. Je sais pas quand il va sortir, mais c'est dans très longtemps.
And why, Mike, is the Goonies so unique? Because it's something that comes up, like, right back, and Joe?
It's because the 80s was the best decade, like, beyond, like...
Après, ils vont parler de quoi? Lies of P?
Yeah. No, but you took the whole team to see the Goonies during development.
We did, we hired a cinema out, didn't we? We hired the Electric Cinema out in Birmingham, very lovely independent cinema. But yeah, had some pirate-themed cocktails that they put on, and yeah, we took the whole team to see it because it was all about that camaraderie, that adventuring together, right?
In all seriousness, it's hard not to get emotional when Joe. That's such an incredible memory of the development of Sea of Thieves, and in such a deep and meaningful way. When we went to watch the Goonies together, it felt like we, as a team, were about to embark on our own pirate.
Comment ça, 2090? Tu parles de quoi en disant 2090?
Where the bonds between the crew felt like the bonds between the characters in the Goonies. They're on this pirate adventure, they don't know what's going to happen, they're going to be surprised by all the dangers and the perils that come their way. So the Goonies for us is just, it's a lovely memory, but it really feels in tune with the spirit of what Sea of Thieves has always been.
Yeah. So Joe, Instead of asking you what your
Star
ship's
Citizen,
called,
ouais,
no?
2090, ok.
No one asked you.
Ouais,
Mine was
ouais,
notorious
c'est dans pas si
BRG,
longtemps, oui. Oui.
Works verbally, doesn't work when written. Anyway, so what's some of the favourite ships you've seen though?
So what I love about like the ship naming throughout the community is obviously people trying to make humorous things.
Le mec qui est au sous-titre là, il est en galère.
Get a reaction or get a chuckle from people when they look through the kind of spyglass and see it and stuff. So like SOT, so SOT final boss, like that gave me a little chuckle, right? That did. Like it's like you see that, it's like yeah, I love that. People like role playing as the fearsome kind of AI threat in the world. But I just love it. I love that. Anything that makes me chuckle is what gets me, right? And there's so much of that. But that was one that stuck in my head that I think someone tweeted from God of Reddit or something. But yeah.
And what about you, Mike? Any favourites?
That is a great example. And obviously, how awesome players have got this new way to express their creativity in the Sea of Thieves world, and the fact that we can laugh about it together. But honestly, there's so many examples. But Usain Bolt. Yeah. Referencing Usain Bolt, the Olympic medalist, that made me chuckle.
I like the way that you felt like you had to explain that.
Well, I want to make sure. It's all right. The world-known Olympic medalist. But one that I just can't forget. It's a little bit dark, but she kept the house.
Beautiful.
That really made me chuckle.
That is good.
It's very clever.
It's
very clever.
And how about you, Joe?
Honestly, the really obvious ones are the ones that make me giggle.
Ouais, le mec qui fait sous-titre à la fin de la journée, il est mort. Il décède.
Little salute on your way.
Aye, it is.
Yeah.
And it's those ones that I like, but you see them when you say you've got the role-playing ones where they've gone for some variation on something we've got in game, or you've got just the funny puns that we've seen as well. And it's that creativity that you see, and you're like, you can almost judge what kind of pirate they are.
Yeah.
But not all the time, and I love that.
Yeah. No, you're right actually, because if someone's got a humorous like this boat is big thing, you can imagine approaching them maybe and like having a laugh with them, right, and speak to them over, using the speaker jumping or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right actually. It really adds a kind of different sort of.
Il parle vraiment que des noms des bateaux là.
So I do actually have the top 10 boat names.
Oh, okay.
Right. This is where we would have top of the pops music.
Okay.
For people of a certain vintage.
Go on.
Dun, 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 right.
Did you
Actually,
prep them to like?
No.
Okay.
Well, actually, does anyone want to guess? See if anyone can guess what number one is. I just flashed it at the camera. Like a tour. Like a tour.
That would happen.
Bon, là, ils ont rien à nous dire, quoi. Parle des noms de bateaux.
I would say knowing our fans, knowing our community and the role play of the world and generally how things go down, I would predict something like the Black Pearl.
And you would be quite right, Mike.
Yeah, and
collect your gift.
There's a lot of black pearls out there, and how awesome is that?
La perle noire, il a traduit la perle noire.
And humor that we love to see for our players. Yeah.
Come on, let people role play. Let people role play is what the game's all about.
And go on, Joe.
If Black Pearl's in there, then
yes,
there's got to be a Flying Dutchman.
You would be quite right.
Top 3?
No, actually, he's number 7.
Oh.
Joe?
Sorry? Usain Bolt.
Correct.
There you go, that's in there.
So others in the top 10. I'm not going to do an exhaustive list, but we have Sloop Dog.
Sloop Dog, that's
very good.
We have Y.
Why?
The letter Y.
I don't want an existential crisis while I'm sailing.
Why?
Why?
Why? Is this just like everybody's just like, why?
Don't come at me with those difficult
Don't
questions.
get, look at
on the
that.
way.
You looked really troubled by that, Mike.
I am troubled. I don't understand that one.
No.
And then, so,
If your ship's named Y, get in touch.
Yeah.
actually, yes, let us know why.
Please.
And we hope it's not rude.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've also got Unsinkable 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I
Titanic
thought there'd be
reference.
Titanic in there.
Okay. Yeah.
Jackdaw.
Jackdaw?
Yes.
Okay.
Thousand Sunny.
Oh, yeah,
Right, okay, yeah.
Going Merry and Queen Anne's Revenge are
Of
all in there
course.
as well.
One
Right.
and only.
So
Very
there we
good.
go. Right, so moving on then.
Parle vraiment pour rien dire. Hein.
No.
We're just getting to that section now.
Yeah.
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 Everyone just like, "Ugh." So,
No.
Adventure 6 then.
Adventure 6.
So it's live right now. People are playing it as we speak. So can you, Mike, probably best, give us an overview of where this fits within the lore and the story? Where are we?
Yeah, so
D'accord.
we're in a really interesting time in the Sea of Thieves now in our storytelling where it's set against the backdrop of these emerging factions in the Sea of Thieves. And our players will know that last year, as part of the Pirate's life, the Dark Brethren emerged.
C'est quoi, un nouveau DLC ou un truc comme ça? Nouvelle aventure de Sea of Thieves?
But the Dark Brethren are still around, with Amaranta, their new member, who's an ex-Sea Dog, and we've got everybody's favourite, Duke. So there's the Dark Brethren, there's of course the one and only Pirate Lord and his pirate legends. players are often part of that. And we've got the third area of that, the third faction, which is, of course, Captain Flameheart. So Captain Flameheart and the Reaper's Bones and the Servant of the Flame. So what you're seeing now at this point in Sea of Thieves history is this factional war between these pirate groups that have all got their own vision for the pirate's life.
Yuzuki, tu joues toi à Sea of Thieves? Tu l'as le jeu?
And unfortunately, poor Merrick has got himself ensnared in the middle of that. And in Adventure 6, players are recruited by the Pirate Lord to go on this daring rescue mission into the Sea of the Damned, to the new hideout of the Dark Brethren, which is the Twisted Sea Dog Tavern, a memory of that iconic.
Bon, franchement, ça m'intéresse pas du tout. Hein.
And you work together with crews to save Merrick. But one of the big things that players who played it will already realise is this actually brings a chapter of Merrick's story that began with the Hungering Deep, continued with the Shrouded Deep, to the Forsaken Hunter, where Merrick was unfortunately killed and went to the Sea of the Damned, to now in Hunter's Cry. It brings this chapter of Merrick's story to a touching conclusion. The story's not over, but it brings this part of the story to a conclusion. So definitely worth experiencing that story, because it's going to have important ramifications for the rest of it.
So I met someone yesterday, and they were a massive fan of Merrick, and they wanted to talk to you about that. They came to the stand, they're down there, like with a cutlass. But like, no, they were like, they wanted to talk to you.
Ouais, ce qui te saoule, c'est ce qu'il y a dans le jeu, quoi.
Yeah, and I'm open to ideas, but it's Merrick or Shelley. Shelley the Crab. That's what it's going to come down to.
Alors tu le fais une fois, puis après c'est tout le temps pareil.
It's the new Daddy or Chips, isn't it?
You can't do that!
Daddy or Chips, that's a deep cut, that is.
Place your bet.
Place your bet. So, you're still chuckling at your own jokes, Joe?
That's what I do. That's
why he's here. So how far are the adventures planned? And like, and without teasing anything or giving anything away, like, how far out are we looking? In terms of where do you know the story is, how far out?
Really far. So I think, like,
what's really?
Really far.
Well, I'd say, like, thematically, like, where we want to go and the direction we're heading into and how we want to represent the pirate's life in all these different ways in the Sea of Thieves. That is planned out a multiple years' worth at a high level. In terms of absolute specifics of what the story beats are and exactly which characters are involved and in what way, that's planned out. I mean, it's probably a year and a half's worth of storytelling and adventures that we've got planned out. And we need to do that, because that's the way that you make things meaningful and make it feel authentic to the Sea of Thieves. When we know what's going to happen to a character in a year and a half's time, we can start seeding things early.
Ouais, quand ils avaient mis Jack Sparrow justement au Disney, ils parlaient de ça tout à l'heure. Je crois.
And how do you think the community engage with the lore? Like, is it, because obviously it's not a prerequisite to playing the game, but those who love lore.
Oh yes, they do. I was going to say, you have to get those specifics right, because if one thread is out of place, if one character isn't in the right look, they're going to notice, and they're going to tag Mike on Twitter until he answers for his lore crimes. they know their stuff, that's the thing, because they've been so invested since day one, and we've now stepped it up with the amount of lore we're delivering. And I know across our social channels and on Discord, we've got separate channels, and we had to separate out the lore section, because we've got mysteries and adventures and then general lore, and they're all over it, and they're sharing theories and they're swapping stories, and they thoroughly embrace that side of the storytelling that we've got now.
And I love that. I love that. I mean, that to me shows that a lot of our community are invested in the world and they care about our world. And you're right. Of course it's not a prerequisite to play Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is this wonderful sandbox adventure game where you get to choose your own adventures. But we've always believed that the more meaning and purpose we can put into the world, the deeper we can make that world feel. The easier it is to immerse yourself in those adventures and that role play. So it's there, waiting, full of surprises for players that want it, but it's not a prerequisite for Sea of Thieves.
And how do we bring in, like, expanded universe into this? Like, you know, again, with the planning, we need to know what's coming, but, like, you know, say the most recent novel. Like, we planned that, was it 2 years ago? We had the first Tracy.
Quite a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, so how do you kind of keep all of this? Is there a big board with lots of...
We do have a lore Bible, which is which is quite high level. If it was too detailed, it would get hundreds and hundreds, thousands of pages probably. But it's a lot of meetings, it's a lot of discussion, it's a lot of building up that knowledge together as a team. I mean, you're right, everything in the EU is canon to our story. So what players have seen before with the Tales of the Sea of Thieves lore book, the 2 novels that we've now got out, the RPGs and the expansion, all of those stories are canon to our world. And there's a huge responsibility that comes with that.
Ouais, ils sont en train de parler de quoi là? Ils sont en train de parler
When you play the game, it should strengthen and vice versa, both of those elements.
Bizarre.
So, we have to get it right.
Every time. That's
well,
the pressure.
That's the pressure.
C'est bientôt fini, je crois.
So, we had our first decision point adventure.
15... Ah non, c'est pas fini encore.
Decided
wrongly.
Calm down.
Can we edit this?
Un quart d'heure.
Yeah.
Ah oui, c'est ça, c'est ça qu'ils sont en train de parler. Ils parlent de ça depuis tout à l'heure pour custom tout.
What side were you all on? So.
I was ruined Golden Sands.
Ruined Golden Sands.
And you even have that. How about yourself?
Don't remind me, Joe. I'd actually forgotten that you were on that side.
No.
Save Golden Sands.
You're surrounded.
All the way. I am. I mean, I'm ensnared in the sandwich of the Reapers.
Okay.
A Reaper sandwich.
No, I think. As we've seen today, interacting with people here at Gamescom, Merrick is such a beloved character, and what Merrick stands for, and you know, he's a salty pirate that's lived his life in the Sea of Thieves, and people love that character. And I think for me, it's a more interesting story, and it's unbelievable that the community chose to go that way. The fact that they bonded together to take this positive action to defend Golden Sands.
So which side do you go? I think you can guess.
Ah voilà, ils sont en train de combler de fou.
Obviously all on the side of Sea of Thieves.
Sorry?
I was going to make
J'attends la suite,
I'm
quoi.
going to move away from that. I was going to make a Sunak trust.
No, let's not do that.
But we won't do that.
Because that would be the most offensive thing you could ever do. To me.
But, all right, moving on quickly, did we have the result you expected? Like, genuinely?
No.
It was, well, I can predict. Like,
I kept watching the conversations happening, and we'd made all these fun things across our Discord servers so that people showed their allegiance rather than anything else. And the Reaper's hideout was just burning stuff. Yeah. Merrick's was coordinating loot, and I had no way of knowing which way it was going to go. And as much as I wanted to ruin it, I'm not going to lie, I spawned in my first play session afterwards on Golden Sands and was really happy. It was like, look at it.
Des biscuits Nutella.
As a designer, you think so much about
Nutella biscuit.
Players and how they'll react to certain things. And
Je suis gros,
I
j'ai faim.
genuinely believe personally that it would go the way, it would go to that negative.
Ça veut trop de bruit?
Go to the Reapers.
They choose chaos.
Who wouldn't want to see what happened if the Reapers won? Because Golden Sands, it's about taking it back to that neutral state, which it will evolve now as the choice has been made. But I always thought people would side with the Reapers. So just blown away by the fact that didn't happen. I thought that was a lovely surprise, and it's going to be really interesting as players see throughout this year what's going to happen to Golden Sands now and how that's going to play out.
Yeah. And honestly, and I love knowing kind of what the next decision point is and where where we're leading to. Yeah. Like that is going to be another huge moment for our community to have to again make a choice, right? And the impact that's coming with that, like without teasing too much. But it's like, you know, later this year there's going to be another big one. Like I think bigger in terms of kind of emotional impact.
The emotional investment in the next one I think will be bigger.
Well, so I'm going to ask again. You've kind of preempted the question, but. So we're having another decision point. That's happening.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah,
but,
right on the screen. That's
and it's a big one.
But so that was my question. Like, if we were to like scale it based on the last one, is this bigger, similar? What can people expect?
Bigger. It's absolutely bigger. It goes right to the core of
the key
characters in the Sea of Thieves, and we wanted to do that. We wanted to drive a big world change with Golden Sands. Obviously, we set that up with the first adventure, Trojan Islands. And picking Golden Sands because it was a beloved outpost, beautiful palm trees, it's paradise. We knew that would trigger an emotional response for our players, but we've done that now. We've seen how players interact with it. We've learned some lessons about how to set up these type of live storytelling events, and now we're going to go even further. We're going to be even more ambitious with this second choice this year. So look out for that.
And also mechanically, again, without spoiling it, but you've learned a lot from how we designed the first one and the activities people are doing and how we're going to be kind of like I love what we've got planned there in terms of like the activities people are going to be doing and how that's going to play out and how it's just I think going to make the whole Sea of Thieves feel so different during that time period.
Yes. Yeah. It'll be a real moment in time, and Joe's right. We've deliberately in adventures so far done very different things One's more focused on the pure gameplay. One's more focused on the storytelling. All these different set pieces, because we're learning, and we're going to take those learnings into the future adventures that we've planned out. We're already doing that.
And you've touched on it slightly there, but how is it planned? Like in terms of production, as executive producer, asking. In terms of production, as design director, like how do you kind of prepare for that decision point though? Like, you know, do we have both tracks ready to go, or is it more of a case of, well, we assume this will happen, or we have a more neutral state?
So that genuinely is probably one of the most complex things we've ever done.
Well, you got like
on
2
Sea of
minutes.
Thieves. I'll keep it brief. But you've got to plan for both outcomes. We deliberately don't start building the bigger things because that would be an incredible waste of the team's time. That we could put to more valuable things. But we have to plan out a junction point. So earlier on, when I was talking about the fact that we've got adventures planned out for the next year and a half, there's almost a fork in the roads there, where there's almost option A and there's option B, based on some of these community choices that we're planning. So it makes a complex job even more complex, but like so worthwhile. So worthwhile.
C'est tellement bourri, putain. Arrêtez de parler.
And Joe, just kind of, we're going to wrap up in a moment, but like from what you know of the next decision point, like
moi je veux ça là.
Kind of groundswell from the community,
et ça, on peut voir ça aussi, l'Eyes of
I think
Puis.
they're going to go wild for the next one. I think it's really exciting, and with that other decision point, they've seen how they can alter the world that they're playing in, and that most of them spend a lot of their time in, and I think this next one really is going to step it up, and I think we will see that resurgence of the passion that we saw in the last decision point, and then some.
So to wrap up then, we're here for a couple more days. What can people expect, like, from us at Gamescom?
Just come to the stand, basically. Like, there's always going to be Sea of Thieves crew at the stand, right? And each day we have, like, there's a meet and greet slot that we've tweeted out. I don't know when, but it is 5 o'clock today.
Bon, attendez 2 secondes.
5 o'clock today,
And then 1 o'clock, I think, every other day, I think. But, and then, you can come play, you can win the medallions, like, you can watch the stream, but the whole point we're here is just to chat and meet with fans, right? That's why we brought so many people here. That's the energy we want. Come and give Mike feedback and questions about everything.
Specifically on Merrick.
Yeah, specifically on Merrick.
Well, I love it. I, honestly, that is the privilege of being at a live show like this. Nothing energizes you more than talking to fans, feeling their passion, hearing their questions and their feedback. We don't just want to hear the good stuff. We want to hear the bad stuff. We want to learn. We want to make this service of Sea of Thieves and this pirate world the best it can possibly be. If you love pirates, Sea of Thieves should be the game for you. So we love nothing more than talking to our fans. We love the game as much as our fans do.
What a wonderful place to leave it.
Yeah, isn't that lovely?
You didn't even ask any questions about Skull and Bones. What's that then?
What about, tell me about Skull and Bones, Joe.
Oh, we're out of time.
But no, so thank you. But this has been great. So thank you ever so much. And as Joe says, if you are here, do come down and see us.
Please do, honestly.
But if not, we'll see you on the seas.
Indeed, yes.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, ils ont arrêté de parler.
Humanity is hanging on by a thread. But you know what? It's not all bad news, because our planet is full of badass dinosaurs. And seriously, who doesn't love a dinosaur?
Dinosaures? Ils ont parlé des dinosaures?
This exciting new glimpse at Second Extinction's full release, players get to explore more of Earth than ever before. The full launch adds a new vast open map for players to roam, more dinosaurs to fight, a revamped progression system,
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
and tons of exciting new features.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
I mean, I'm talking about co-op, first-person shooter, and mutated dinosaurs. I am so in. Here's a brand new trailer for Second Extinction.
Seconde extinction. Ils en avaient déjà parlé? C'est quoi? C'est comme Arc quoi? Non, c'est pas pareil du tout. Hein. C'est Seconde Extinction. C'est un jeu avec des dinosaures. Il vient de se terminer là, ils ont arrêté de parler de Sea of Thieves. Ça a l'air pas mal hein. Mais bizarre. On n'a pas de gameplay, je pense. On va pas avoir de gameplay. Seconde extinction. Je crois que c'est... Elle a dit que c'était le deuxième trailer, je crois. Ils parlent de quoi après? Ils vont parler de Lies of P. Lies of P. C'est vraiment galère en fait de traduire en direct. C'est dommage pour les conventions, mais tu vois là, c'est Xbox France, ils sont obligés de traduire à la va-vite en direct. Comment ils pourraient faire autrement? Lies of Peace, ça a l'air sympa. On va voir, hein, je connais pas du tout. J'ai jamais rien vu dessus. Half-Life c'est juste après, c'est Iron Life c'est 16h15. C'est juste après Lies of P, donc 16h15. Qui a combien d'heures de temps de présentation? Une demi-heure? Voilà, 3 quarts d'heure. Minecraft Legends, c'est quoi? C'est un RPG de Minecraft? C'est quoi? Il me semble que j'en avais déjà entendu parler, mais c'est pas comme Minecraft Dungeon ou... Je sais pas. Franchement, je sais pas. En tout cas, il fait très chaud, on le ressent. Alors, à l'honneur de Carlo Colotti ou Olotti. C'est plutôt beau. Un peu steampunk. Alors il a un bras en... pas robotisé. Tiens, ça m'intrigue. C'est elle quoi? Oh, vieux monsieur.
We meet, son. The stage is set.
The light shines brightest in the darkest of times.
Alright, I am here for you. Don't worry.
Le jeu a l'air sympa. C'est peut-être pas pour moi. Je suis peut-être pas le public visé, mais... Lies of P. Donc ils vont parler de Lies of P là du coup, je pense.
Hello, Charlie here with two of the brilliant and twisted minds from NeoWiz who created a game that's reimagined Pinocchio as a ruthless killing machine to cleanse a plague-infested world. Made by the studio behind beloved fantasy MMO Bless Unleashed and coming from a team of developers who worked on the absolutely awesome Monster Hunter world, I am super excited about this one. Please welcome Ji-won Choi and Jason Park.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Told you they were twisted. It's lovely to meet you, whoever's underneath there. This is haunting. Truly haunting.
Bah ouais, tu vas le tester. Bah en vrai, je suis en train de me dire que le Game Pass, voilà, c'est pas si cher du tout pour ce qu'il y a dedans. Hein.
Here they are, Jason and Ji-won. We have a joker.
Bonjour les amis.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
There they are. Amazing. They've joined us. Welcome. Now, when I think of Pinocchio, it doesn't quite look up to the trailer that we saw just now. So could you let us know where the idea of Pinocchio as a killing machine actually came from?
Our team is called DOF, and this is the first time we've developed a single-player console game. So we needed a way to get our name out there in order to stick in the minds of the people. Our strategy was to choose a subject that was very well known, but transform it into something completely original. We eventually chose the adventures of the Pinocchio, but that wasn't a quick decision. We first
Donc ils se sont inspirés de Pinocchio pour faire ça. Oh, j'ai rien vu Yuzuki, mais tu leur dis pas des choses comme ça là.
The story shouldn't be childish, and we should be able to enjoy it as adults. And last, the game should be full of adventures and unforgettable characters. This is naturally led us to Pinocchio because it matched the conditions we set. I had loved Pinocchio when I was a child, but I was shocked when I read it again more carefully recently.
Oh là là, il va le taper avec son énorme roue là.
On our way to the movie for adults, it was a real pleasure to take the fantastic source material and create our own original story. Totally free.
I bet it is, and now we're at Gamescom showing it off to the world.
Yeah. So when you brought up the initial idea of making a game based on the story of Pinocchio, honestly, I was not convinced at all. Yeah, I was thinking that Pinocchio is a story for kids, not sure for online soul-like games. However, even though I read Pinocchio's story a long time ago, I remember it vaguely, so I went to the bookstore, bought the book, and read it again. And what I've learned is that
on dirait un peu un Dark Souls dans le gameplay. Je sais pas à quoi m'attendre. Ça ressemble complètement à un Souls en fait.
This is something we have to do, revitalizing this amazing story as a game.
I think it sounds like I might need a reread of Pinocchio then. But until then, do you want to give us a bit of a deep dive of the story and the world that your Pinocchio inhabits?
As you already know, Lies of P is based on the original story of Pinocchio, which is actually quite brutal.
J'espère que c'est le même niveau de difficulté. Ah, je sais pas, on verra.
our game's story is completely different and filled with new events. For example, Lies of P takes place in the imaginary city of Krat, where petrification disease is spreading and causing a lot of conflict. And while you will meet a lot of familiar characters from the Pinocchio, they want to be anything like you remember. We introduced the Black Rabbit Brotherhood before, but I'd also like to tell you about Antonia, who appears at the beginning of the trailer. In the original story, Antonia is actually Antonio, Geppetto's friend. That is all I can leave it today, though. I will save the rest for the future.
I was going to say, I definitely don't remember these masks from my childhood, it's got to be said.
Yeah, so me too.
Il a un mulet, le saut.
Black Rabbit Brotherhood. They're also in the original story. You know, 4 Black Rabbit holding a coffin on their shoulders. They're in Lies of P. They're not just rabbit. They're brutal warriors.
C'est quoi le saut pour toi? Ah, le saut qu'il avait sur la tête.
I really want to see how you guys survive when they're hunting you.
So, in order to go up against them, I have seen from the trailer so far that there are some ridiculous weapons.
Oh non, il a l'air très sympa. Il a juste les cheveux longs, il a pas un mulet quand même.
So talk us through the combat we can expect from Lies of P, and how similar is it to the Souls-like games we've been seeing recently?
I can confidently say that Lies of P is full of a unique and one-of-a-kind battle system. And the first system I'd like to talk about is the weapon combination system. Weapons are divided into 2 parts, the blade and the handle.
Il fait combien dans ma chambre là? Ouais, il fait 27, 28. L'enfer.
Pictures and special skills called flavor art.
Oh, okay.
So players are free to mix and match.
Ouais, c'est un Souls.
Create the perfect weapon for them. It should be fun to try out
Son déroute. Ouais, t'es juste un rageux, Pierre. Un rageux, Pog.
Which you probably already saw on the main character's left arm.
Yep.
He has actually body of perfect, so it's possible to modify it with the parts and use special skills.
Bon, j'espère qu'ils vont pas trop en parler pendant trop longtemps. Moi, ce que je veux, c'est Iron Life. Parlez-moi de Iron Life. Est-ce que Justin Roiland est là? Est-ce qu'il est à la Xbox? Ce serait incroyable.
Earlier, by the way, I'm just going to say, and it is so difficult. So I just want to let anyone know out there that this game is so difficult. You are going to absolutely love it.
Est-ce qu'il est là?
That's the elephant in the room. Obviously, the original Pinocchio game had a big emphasis on his nose growing with every single lie. So I have to ask, does this element of the Pinocchio story play into Lies of P at all?
Yeah. First of all, I think that
c'est vraiment Pinocchio, quoi.
Aspect of the original story. And when you really think about it, humans are capable of lying, and that can also be proof of their humanity. This also means that we approach the concept of lying in a completely different way than the original. Think about it. Is there any more human than using lies to achieve something? We think that in order to become real human, one has to lie, and that is reflected in the game by players experiencing a variety of events by lying. The choices they make will also affect the ending. As for what person might do to his nose, I can spoil it for you, and you need to find it out for yourself. But I can guarantee you will not expect anything.
I tell you what, when the full game comes out then, the first thing I'm testing is the lying.
Yeah, in the game you can lie if you'll be a human, but always remember, the Black Rabbit Brotherhood is always looking for a chance to put all liars into the coffin.
Right, okay, moving swiftly onwards from that then. There had to be a ton of people putting a lot of time into Lies of P to pull the strings, pun intended, to get a game like this off the ground. So can you talk about the development process, and were there any difficulties actually getting people to buy into this reimagining?
Actually, in Korea, the majority of games are online PC and mobile games. So there aren't many developers with expertise in single-player games for console.
Oh, okay.
So we did a lot of trial and error and made a lot of mistakes. But this was unavoidable. Yeah. Despite these challenging circumstances, the fact that our team, has a lot of developers who already had experience with the console game project was a major help. Yeah. Most of all, our team absolutely loves console games, so it was easy to get everyone on board with our visions for Lies of P. Yeah. I would like to give all the credit to our team members, and they are the reason why Lies of P could come this far. Yeah. And I'm really proud of our team.
And I'm sure they are so proud of you both sat here today representing the game as well. So shout out to you two in particular.
Yeah, it is the first time for us to make a single player game. We all have a lot of experiences on developing action games, but only limited to online games. At first, I was thinking that making single player games would be easier in terms of technical perspective, like no network sync issues, etc. But it didn't take long that I realized I underestimated. Yeah, our game needed a lot of features we haven't even imagined when we develop online games.
Okay.
We only have one playable character, which is easier to make because online games normally have more than 5.
Very true.
But this one playable character, I mean Pinocchio, requires, I guess, 10 times more animations than the online games.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, Pinocchio uses a lot of different types of weapons, and each weapon requires total unique animations of, total set of unique, total unique set of animations. So I have to admit, our initial plan was off in terms of estimating the cost of the animations.
Yeah.
So if you look at our studio, and probably you can see our animator artists and combat designers yelling at each other and arguing all the time. We are still in this chaos, but anyway, we are enjoying it, and definitely we'll be better at planning it next time.
Well, I really appreciate that you brought the chaos to us here in Germany, but before we run out of time, I do want to give you two the floor to share anything you want with everyone out there about Lies of P before its release.
Actually, we didn't expect the Lies of P to get this much interest and love from gamers. We really want to thank you all for the tremendous level of support. We'll do our absolute best and are sure that you'll be mesmerized by the city of cards. Take care and see you in the Xbox Game Pass next year.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, for everybody at Gamescom, don't forget to visit our booth and play the demo. Enjoy it, and please share your experiences with us. Thank you for having us today, and enjoy Gamescom with Lies of P.
Guys, thanks again so much for joining me. But now, dancing robots, creepy crash test dummies, and theme park rides you really don't want to visit are just some of the trippy treats crammed into this wonderfully weird next trailer. Set in an alternate 1955, where robotic technology has grown nail-bitingly powerful, it's up to one rogue agent to take a stand for humanity. And if he doesn't, well, let's just say that's not good for anybody. This is a brand new look at Atomic Heart.
Alors, ouais. Parle de quoi là? Quel jeu? Oh bordel. Bah c'est ça le jeu Pinocchio, non? Atomic Heart. Non, c'est pas ça. Forcément c'est sur le Game Pass, tout est sur le Game Pass. Hein. En même temps, c'est Xbox. Bon, là du coup il est quelle heure? 15h50. Ouais, ok, ils vont encore parler de Lies of P, je pense. Je sais pas. Iron Love, c'est que dans 25 minutes. Prochain look de Iron Heart, non. C'est quoi ça? C'est elle qui jouera en Earth, je crois. Hein. Attends. Non, je verrai ça après. Ah ouais? Sur Discord? Ah mais ils ont spoilé avec les jouets je crois, non? Je pense que c'est ça. Ils ont spoilé avec les jouets. Parce que c'est un jouet que tu m'as envoyé.
Hey, welcome back everyone. I'm here with Stephen Takowski from 505 Games to talk about all the Gunfire Reborn wildness we just saw in that trailer before its console, cloud and PC release on Game Pass on October 27th. Stephen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Listen, no problem at all. We appreciate it. And welcome to Gamescom.
Thank you. I mean, I'm having a great time.
Good to be back, right?
Absolutely.
Tu trouves ça dégueulasse le look là?
A little while now, right? Yeah. But it's coming to Xbox, console and cloud for the very first time, which is great news. So give us an introduction to the game.
Sure. So Gunfire Reborn is a level-based
Tu trouves ça dégueulasse?
with FPS, roguelike, and
moi je trouve que ça va.
elements. And you pretty much play with several characters who will have various abilities, and you will go on adventures through 4 different environments.
Genre,
and in those environments, there's unique levels, enemies, and bosses.
Right, and we can see from the footage there.
C'est censé être quoi? C'est censé être un Black Panther ou?
It's a roguelite as well, right? So
Correct.
I'm right in thinking that every time you start a new run, it's going to be a different.
C'est genre un mix entre Iron Man
Yeah,
et.
it's a true roguelike. Each route is going to be different each time you play, so it'll always be different from one gameplay to the next. You don't know what drops you're getting, so you have to adjust.
Après, si c'est une Black Panther et qu'elle est wakandaise, c'est logique.
And
ouais, c'est vraiment Iron Man quoi.
Find different weapons. You're gonna find weapon inscriptions, which are different rarities of weapons.
Chelou de fou. Hein.
And you don't know what to expect, but you just gotta be prepared.
Et ce serait Iron Heart du coup.
You'll know there's going to be a boss at the end of each level, which is your typical roguelike experience.
Ah.
But, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Excellent. And we saw from the trailer as well, you can play it solo, and you can play co-op, multiplayer, which is awesome. But let's talk about solo first, right?
Ah mais c'est pas Iron Life ça.
Gunfire Reborn experience if you're just playing on your own?
Well, the solo experience is great. A lot of games, you want to play roguelike with friends. This one plays solo. It's the best way to level up your character, unlock new characters, and upgrade your character. So solo experience is more like an RPG, and there's 4 environments that you have to go through. It can be challenging because you only get 1 revive for the entire experience.
Right. And so in solo play, you're essentially, as you say, you're leveling up, you're unlocking new characters, you're working on your profile basically to then take it into multiplayer, is that right?
That's correct. And
ça, le look.
Multiplayer is super fun with Gunfire Reborn. You can play.
C'est pas si mal que ça, hein, mais moi j'ai pas les rêves des comics, donc bon. Ouais, c'est Iron Man quoi. Iron Nerd, c'est censé être qui? Ray Williams, personnage de fiction. Ouais, ça va, enfin c'est ce que c'est censé être à la base quoi. Alors ça c'est le truc de base, et ça c'est ce qu'ils vont en faire dans le film quoi. Ah, c'est vrai qu'il y a une différence quand même. Hein. C'est censé être la relève d'Iron Man quoi, Iron Earth. Bizarre. Bizarre de fou.
Some of them are optimal for like elemental damage. Some of them are great for delivering, melee damage or crits. So, you do have to spend some time. I mean, the game has a lot there. So if you want to spend the time and drill down and learn the game, you will be rewarded. It's an excellent game that you can really spend like hundreds of hours on, and we have a massive community online who really appreciate it. You see guides everywhere on optimal builds. You'll see tier lists for everything, and it's just a really
ah ouais, ils sont en train de jouer à Minecraft Legends.
You have to decide which hero is best for you. For me, I would say getting started, the Crown Prince is a very well-balanced character. Definitely recommend it. Any weapon he can use, and he does corrosive damage with his bomb, which is really important. And then you have each character has an optimal strategy. You just got to decide which one's best for you.
Nice. Okay. You mentioned the community. I want to come back to that because there is this incredible community already built around Gunfire Reborn. So, I want to give them a shout out and come back to them. But speaking of animals, yeah, you've got the animal heroes. I think I also saw an animal being used as a weapon, right? Like a lizard as a weapon.
Yeah, that's called Justice, and
Justice
very creative weapons. There's a whole arsenal. There's 8 different classes.
Tu me parles de quoi là? La reine de Latverie, l'ancien royaume de Fatalis. Ah, mais je connais pas Latverie.
And based on your strategy, based on your class, your hero, you can decide. But it's roguelike, so each game you don't know what you're getting, but you have choices. There's generally 3 choices unless a boss drops for you. Then you have to pick up that weapon, or you choose not to pick up that weapon, and you can also refund the weapons as well. So you have a lot of options for your gameplay, and you look at the stats on each of these weapons, and you have to do your research, and you'll be rewarded for a game like this.
I love it. All right, so we've talked a bit about the heroes, a bit about the
D'accord, gouverné par Fatalis.
As well. Who are we up against in Gunfire Reborn?
Sure. So enemies in Gunfire, there's 3 classes. You have your standard enemies. You defeat them, you get soul essence, you get copper. You have your elite enemies that you find in like vaults, which are these like hidden cracks throughout the levels that you can get some pretty sweet rewards from. Whether it's like a weapon or a goblet or a scroll. And then you have the bosses at the end of the levels. And usually you'll get like a legendary scroll, 2 weapons, goblet, soul essence, and copper. And, those bosses definitely can be challenging at first. But once you play the game and get used to it, you realize they all have a strategy to defeat. Some people we've seen, they jump into it, they can be a little bit challenging. But, after you really do a little bit of research, they become much easier.
Oh, ce jeu, il a l'air, c'est Brawl Star en FPS quoi.
One of the things I've experienced playing. In my early runs, I was really getting rinsed by the bosses. But, as you go through in true roguelite style, you level up, you get it, you work it out. But some of the bosses are huge, right? I mean, I caught sight of a couple in the trailer there.
Oh, yeah, they're huge. But, as you win and you gather soul essence and you level up your character, it just gets easier from there.
Yeah, and especially when you're playing with your friends in co-op as well, and you can bring all that firepower to bear.
Absolutely.
Great. All right, yeah, we talked about the community. You mentioned them earlier. Huge community already in place for Gunfire Reborn. Community keeps coming back for more.
T'es pas un grand fan d'Iron Earth, car si je l'étais, je serais capable de te dire que dans les champions volume 2,
Sure, so we're always listening to the community. People write guides,
Vive.
and the game is constantly getting balanced and
C'est qui Vive?
deliver an amazing experience.
Ouais, t'es un Marvelous.
Already in the community, we're really enjoying it, and we pay attention.
C'est qui? J'ai pas les rèves de Vive.
be announcing soon. But we take in community feedback in order to create an optimal experience because we want them to keep playing.
Love it, love it. So I guess the Gunfire Reborn
Bon,
community is going to be a
c'est
great
toujours
place
pas.
for Xbox players to start when they start playing. But given that this whole new Xbox community is coming to the game, both on console and cloud and PC through Game Pass, what do you? How would you sort of say to them? Why should they jump into Gunfire Reborn?
Sure, so it definitely has amazing replayability. It's very accessible. If you're a roguelike fan or you're brand new to roguelites, it's a great experience. Very, very clean combat. It doesn't take too long to it takes a while.
Moi j'attends Ion Life, c'est tout.
If you have 3 friends standing by ready to play,
Je veux juste voir du Ion Life. Après il y a Minecraft Legends. Ah ouais, c'est star ça. En vrai, je regarde Ion Life et après j'arrête. Hein. Tout ce qui est après, Grounded, tout ça, je m'en fous. Hein. À la limite, Minecraft Legends et Age of Empires 4 quoi.
And it turns out you've all missed this incredibly special event just as much as I have. So here's a glimpse of what this brilliant show means to the Xbox family all over the world.
Merci.
What I love about Gamescom is the fact that this is bigger than an event. This is an opportunity for all of us from the whole world to meet each other, to play together, to have fun. This is a chance to meet the people who shares with you the passion for the gaming. Also, you can buy stuff that will remind
Under the Wave. Ils vont parler d'Under the Wave là?
Gamescom. So, looking forward to be there again, and I'm so excited to have a chance to meet you all. See you!
For me, Gamescom is not only the expo, but most of all, it's huge gaming celebration. Opportunity to meet the people, meet the gamers, meet the fans from around the world is really special. And I think that everyone who has opportunity should go to the Cologne at least once.
D'accord.
For Gamescom, I'm most looking forward to meeting some new friends, as well as being reunited with some old Xbox family that I haven't seen in so long in person. So I can't wait to see and hang out with everybody, all in the name of games. It's going to be fun.
One memory of Gamescom that I will never forget is the 2018 FanFest boat party that they threw. It was a really cool place to meet other Xbox fans, but also it was the first time I ever met Graham, and I'll never forget it because he and I clearly have great fashion taste because we were wearing the exact same shoes to the party.
Bonjour from France. What I like the most about Gamescom is
lui il est français de fou.
the work of the talented teams working on the tomorrow's games, discovering new worlds, new stories, and especially talking with fans about our favorite games.
Lui s'il est pas français. Non mais il l'a dit en plus. Trop fort le bug. 8 minutes d'attente. Quel enfer, au secours. Ils sont en avance. Bon allez, pause pipi. Je reviens. De Vive, ok. Une image de Vive. Ok. Ah oui, bah c'est littéralement la fille de Vision, ouais. Littéralement la fille de Vision. Par contre, pourquoi elle a une pierre de l'infinité sur le front aussi? Bizarre. Genre, son père est mort pour la mettre au monde? Pas de spoil en fait. J'en sais rien. C'est dans les comics, hein. Ah, c'est pas une pierre. C'est quoi du coup? Comment elle vit? C'est de la magie? Attends, parce que du coup c'est la fille de Vision, mais c'est pas la fille de Wanda. Je ne pense pas. Pff, 5 minutes encore. Ouais d'accord, oui c'est ça, Vision, Wanda elle a créé des enfants avec sa magie, et donc du coup ça c'est juste l'enfant de Vision. Et comment elle a été créée? Il a créé sa propre famille, d'accord. Ouais, il a fait des robots quoi. C'est des bébés robots. Dans les comics, Vision est le cadavre de la torche. Vision est le cadavre de la torche. Genre la torche c'est un perso Marvel aussi. Genre Vision il devient la torche. Ah non, d'accord, ok, genre la torche il meurt et il devient Vision. Oui d'accord, oui. Ultron crée Vision à partir du cadavre de la torche de Jim Hammond, ouais je vois. La première torche, ok, la première torche qui était pas dans les 4 fantastiques. Moi je pensais aux 4 fantastiques justement. Bon allez, Ion Life arrive bientôt. Let's go. Bon là normalement devrait être intéressant. En tout cas ça va m'intéresser. Hype, mais hype. Ah d'accord, c'est genre un soleil. Et un soleil sur le front. Ou un panneau solaire. Et un panneau solaire sur le front. Pourquoi pas? Ouais, bah ouais, un panneau solaire, voilà. D'accord. Bah du coup elle est obligée de rester sur Terre quoi. Elle peut pas aller... Enfin elle peut pas aller dans d'autres systèmes solaires ou je sais pas quoi, enfin bref. Ok, ok. T'inquiète. Elle peut, elle peut. Bon allez, ça commence. Eye on life. Mister MV, qu'est-ce que tu fous là? Le vieux monsieur qui développe Eye on Life.
And I'm sure the fans are going to be super excited about this segment because you have a tons of gameplay to show us, and I want to see it definitely. But before we jump into that, could you give us like a quick overview of what High on Life means?
Yeah, so High on Life is the new game from Justin Roiland's studios.
Ouais, voilà, c'est Justin Roiland.
Starts out on Earth, you're kind of an aimless teenager. You don't really know where you're going with your life. Aliens show up. They discover that humans are the best drugs in the universe, and you pair up.
Est-ce qu'il y aura une VF sur Eye on Life?
To sort of stop them from ending your species, basically.
Yeah, you're going to be seeing a bit of content from the intro tutorial level to start. You know, some fast forward sort of through here, but it's just
ouais. Bonjour, Mathis Tudivan, c'est ça?
So is that like the typical game from Squanch games you would have?
Yeah, so we kind of have weird games. Like if you know, we kind of found each other. We like making weird stuff. We all love comedy. We all love weird sci-fi. So it really is right in our wheelhouse. It's just
le jeu est bizarre parce qu'ils sont bizarres. Mais il a l'air incroyable ce jeu.
Sounds great.
Je vais prendre le Game Pass pour faire Eye on Life, tu vas voir.
Bench. Oh wow, you really made yourself at home, huh?
Oh, there you are. Who's this weirdo and why is he setting up a huge alien computer in our living room?
Oh, et ça s'insulte et tout. Il est incroyable ce jeu. Meilleur jeu de la décennie.
Expensive and surprisingly operational Bounty 5000. So, you're welcome.
Oh, what 5000?
Ouais.
I've got just the thing. A small-time local gangster by the name of Nine Torg. She took my favorite knife. She's got an operation out in the slums. Maybe you kill her and get my knife back. Then we'll talk. Maybe take you out to Glumpy's to celebrate.
All right, so we just head out to the slums?
No, moron. You gotta use the Bounty 5000 to initiate a bounty. That's what I went through all the trouble of setting it up for.
Et il skip des choses pour pas trop divulguer, je pense.
My knife! We're looking for the gateway to the slums, I guess. Look, it shouldn't be too far. Listen, just follow the waypoint.
So I just noticed it's a little forward. Like, is that the usual demo? Is that a cut through?
En tout cas, ça a l'air super beau.
Yeah, so we're actually showing the full demo here to pass behind closed doors, but for the purposes of this video, we're just sort of fast forwarding to make time.
Understand. And the family was at my house. Where do I live in there? Is that my family?
Yeah. So early on in the game, Kenny gives you the ability to teleport your entire house to escape from the cartel. So when you teleport your house, your sister's in the house, so you kind of bring her with you. And she's not too happy about that at first. And the other guy you see in there, that's Gene. He's a legendary bounty hunter, at least he was legendary bounty hunter. Kind of fell on hard times, and he's homeless. And he sees this opportunity as a way to sort of
ça a l'air super grand, super beau.
If you let me crash on your couch, if you die, I get to keep the house, basically. And so he's really, in the beginning, he's really hoping you die.
Understood.
Et du ray tracing là-dedans? Je ne pense pas.
Well, look what we got here. Fresh meat. Hey there, fresh meat. Welcome to the slums, fresh meat.
Oh boy, here we go. Kid.
What's wrong, fresh meat? You scared of a little kid?
Il veut pas qu'on passe. Pas très sympa le bug.
This kid, this is annoying. What's this all about?
Well, honestly, he's just supposed to be annoying, basically. So we implemented this patented squanch shove tech, basically, where characters get in your face and push you around. It's such a funny little mechanic, and he's one of the first characters you encounter that's doing this to you, and he's really pressuring you to shoot him, but you don't have to. You can skip it, yeah.
Yeah, you meet his mom later, and he's actually 30.
Il est juste mort.
Okay, so not really technically.
You're not killing kids, and it's your choice.
Okay.
Hey, you can't pass through here. It's Nine Torg's turn.
Jesus, enough with everyone getting in our way. We just want to kill Nine Torg.
Yeah, right. You kill Nine Torg? Get lost, heel.
So this is exciting. We're in our first combat. Yeah, who are we fighting? And is this Kenny's primary ability?
Yeah, so this is the first time you're really getting to use Kenny. And these aren't the main enemies you're fighting. These are sort of a lower level set of goons. And they actually think they're the strongest enemies in the game, but they find out by the end of this mission that they're really not, and they're just the ones in the first level. It's really funny. It's a really funny sequence. And for Kenny, you're seeing basically his primary fire right now. This is early.
Le jeu, si le jeu il est comme ça, moi ça me va. Hein. Si tout le jeu tu fais ça.
Each gun kind of has 3 modes. One of them is always going to affect traversal, and then on top of that, there's mods for each gun.
Oh, hey, you want to see a cool party trick I used to do? Aim me at those spinny platforms. Come on, give it a shot. It'll be fun. Yeah, I told you. Did you see how fun that was? I call it my glob shot. It comes out of my trick hole.
Okay.
D'accord, ok.
I'm afraid to ask this question. What is a trick hole?
Is that just an American thing?
I'm sorry.
I thought that was worldwide, the trick hole, but apparently not. So all the guns in the game have 3 separate abilities. So primary, secondary, as we mentioned, and then there's an ability fire. What you're seeing here can be used in combat, but it can also be used to open up new traversal areas.
Ouais, donc il développe un peu plus le gameplay, enfin en tout cas il montre un peu plus les techniques de gameplay.
And kind of explore, find content, collectibles, and also get new NPC interactions.
Coûte combien le jeu? Ouf, la manette. Coûte combien le jeu? Il est pas sur Steam encore. Je crois pas.
Tear through someone's guts. Oh, I think they're talking about Gene's knife. You.
Got it.
Comment ça le truc Windows des vieux?
Yeah, it's your fault Stebulax is dead. I was in love with him. Did you know that? I loved him, and now his head's cut off.
Just the way it should be. Fuck him. Hey, guess what? I have another secret trick you can use. The power of negotiation. Let's try reasoning with these guys. Knock on the door. Tell me how you want to play this.
Non, sur le stream là? Sur le truc de Xbox?
Who are you?
Hey, hello there, friends.
Oh, I think it's the buyer.
Hey, are you the buyer?
No, I'm just here to do my laundry. It's even clean. I'm a laundry head. Can't stop washing stuff over here.
Hey, this room's off limits. Everything you need is in the front. Get out of here.
Good luck with your laundry.
I mean, I have a ton of laundry at home, especially after Gamescom, but I've noticed there's a lot of dialogue in this. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we actually started out kind of writing out a big dialogue tree. Our head writer, Alec Robbins, amazing writer, and kind of makes twine games in his spare time, so we had it down. And then once people got in the booth, we kind of encouraged a little bit of improv to keep things fresh and funny. And then all of that amounts to basically a huge selection of dialogue choices. And so you just heard him.
Mister MV qui nous fait un petit speech.
If you knock on the door before that, you don't even have a chance to give that answer because you don't know that information. So there's a lot of stuff like that throughout the game that you're kind of.
Ils vont mettre Ubisoft dans le Game Pass? Wow.
They told us this buyer was a real prankster.
Oh, you, come on. That was pretty up. That joke is gonna me up.
You got him good. Okay, though, but enough of that. Let's show them the product.
All right, here's the product. A genuine talking knife. I gotta be honest with you. He's a real piece of shit.
He's extremely violent. He basically only talks about wanting to kill people in very disturbing ways.
You, I'm gonna carve out your cavity. Gonna make it.
Attends, on a plusieurs guns, je crois, dans ce jeu-là.
Drop right out of there.
See what I'm talking about?
Oh, perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah, great. Go ahead. Feel free to inspect it. Try him out. See how he feels in your hand.
Yeah, free me. Let's go. Let's go psycho on these f***ers.
Actually, you want to just swing out the air a bit, like far away from us? Yeah, thanks.
Come on, what are you? Oh, fuck yes, thank you. Pleased to meet you. I'm Knifey. Now use me. Let me up this
Okay.
Just a reminder,
Il veut se casser.
don't do anything crazy when you're holding the knife. Just like look at it, see if you like it, put it back. Yeah, thank you.
Tu peux faire tout n'importe quoi.
Definitely 9-Torg, but let's put a pin in the whole gene thing. How do we get out of here?
With my tether ability. I'm more than just a knife, you racist. I can tether too. Look up and latch on.
I can't believe it. I'm sorry, but these lines, guys. But I remember.
D'accord, c'est un couteau et il peut servir de grappin.
I think for fans, he has been fan favorite from the debut. Tell me everything about him.
Yeah, so he's by far my favorite weapon in the game. He's voiced by Michael Cusack, who's awesome. He's so funny. And throughout the game, basically, he functions as a knife, but he's there to kind of always pick on you and say funny stuff. He also has this tether ability, which affects traversal through the levels. So once you get him, you can kind
Il va
of
être incroyable à jouer ce jeu. Ouais, c'est Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The levels really open up once you get Knifey, and then there's a bunch of other traversal abilities you can use in tandem with him. And you also can't open chests until you get Knifey, which you'll see right here. These are our lug loxes. Hopefully we'll be selling plushies of these, plushies of Knifey. Always going to have that side hustle. So you're actually also getting pretty close to the end of the level here. You're going to fight the boss 9-Torg, who's your first bounty. You're going to be able to use all of your abilities that you've learned in the level together.
C'est quoi ça, c'est un boss?
Your secondary, you're going to be tethering around the air arena, and you're also going to be deflecting with Knifey. So you put it all together, and you fight 9-Torg.
Ouais, c'est un boss. Ouf, prends des dégâts. Ouais bah ils vont pas montrer tout hein.
Hey, I'm still here. You can still use me if you want. I can deflect attacks. Did you know that? I'm not just all about stabbing. Well, I'm mostly all about stabbing and tethering, but I can also deflect attacks. I'll slice them the gap. I'll cut their heads off. I'll rip their limbs off. Do everything. I'm gonna cut right into them. I'll cut their asshole off and eat it.
You know, this slug matches your toxic personality.
Ah ouais, il l'avait déjà montré? Ok. Ouais, du coup, bah c'est la même chose quoi. Il le remontre. Moi j'avais pas vu pour le coup. Oh mais c'est une super Saiyan, au secours. Ok, c'est la fin de la présentation du coup. Moi je veux un t-shirt Ion là, ils font.
So actually we're showing this full playthrough of what is essentially the first bounty you get. So we're showing that behind closed doors to press. There should be full videos online of the whole playthrough for people to check out, and we're just so excited to finally.
Ok, donc oui, il avait déjà release, il l'avait déjà montré.
Amazing. Well, I can say this is a gloopy globby blast, right? But when can
25 octobre. On est dessus, on est dessus, on est dessus. Et il est sur Steam ou pas?
Yeah, seriously, please check it out. Like, this is really, really a special game to us, and we really hope you guys like it.
Well, Mikey, Maddie, I have to say first of all, thank you so much for us.
Attends, mais sur le Game Pass, le 13 septembre, 13 septembre, je crois ils ont dit.
And now we are going to take a look Get a game set in the Warhammer 40K universe.
Alors du coup.
Just a little change of pace here.
Ouais.
I don't know about you, but nothing signals the end of summer like a good co-op shooter. And just as the darkness
Il est pas sur
starts
Steam?
creeping in, we have the perfect slice of shooty socializing for you. Set in the city of Tertium, play as
Non,
one
Steam.
of 4 types of recently released prisoners as a last resort to protect the city. It's
Si,
time
il est...
for the rejects to
Ouais.
rise. This is Dark Tide.
Décembre 2022. D'accord. Ouais, pour le coup, bah il est en liste de souhaits, quoi. Mince.
You are a reject, a convict freed to serve the Inquisition in this darkest of hours. It is your duty to fight.
C'est quoi ça du coup?
And, if necessary, die for the Emperor. You can expect no help, no reinforcements.
C'est quoi? Il parle de quoi après? Planet of Lana, ce serait ça? Bon, moi je m'en fous, hein. je suis là juste pour... Oh, juste pour Iron Knife. Mais... Bon. Moi je m'en fous. Je vais juste... Voilà. Voilà. Ah, maintenant il est bien référencé. Plutôt bien référencé en tout cas. De toute façon c'est la pub sur... Enfin c'est la pause sur le stream. Ouais, il l'avait déjà montré du coup tout ça. Bah hop, hein, voilà. Dans la liste de souhaits. Après la suite, je sais pas si ça va vraiment m'intéresser, hein. Est-ce que je continue à regarder ça? Planet of Lana. Ouais, ça va pas vraiment m'intéresser ça. Je pense que je vais arrêter de regarder ça. Je vais peut-être partir sur... Je vais ping l'autre là et on va voir si on peut... Ah non, Gurvan ne peut pas. Bah sinon... T'es chaud multiversus peut-être? Peut-être pas. De toute façon, je pense que je vais m'arrêter là parce que bon, la suite va pas tellement m'intéresser. Moi, j'étais là juste pour Iron Life. Ils ont parlé un peu, c'était sympa. Ouais. Bah moi je vais arrêter là du coup. Je fais quoi? Qu'est-ce que je fais? Je sais pas, je vais cut le stream, je pense, je vais aller regarder les blasts. Counter Strike, parce que j'adore Counter Strike. Bon. Ah, je pense qu'on va arrêter là du coup. Voilà. Bon bah à plus du coup. Ce soir normalement je stream Counter Strike normalement, on verra. Allez à plus.